Good morning.
Good morning.
The July 16th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Estimates is now called to order. The board continues to meet in a hybrid form. For those here in person, please take a moment to silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. For those attending virtually, if you desire an opportunity to speak, we ask that you please keep yourself on mute until the chair recognizes you. When you are called upon, please announce your name and organization and speak loudly and clearly as you present. At this time, I would ask our clerk, Celeste Amato, for any corrections, additions, and noted abstentions for today's agenda.
Thank you, Madam President, and good morning, everyone. We have the following corrections to note this morning on the routine agenda. SB 25-12174, this is for Mayor's Office of Recovery Programs. It's a grant agreement, Behavioral Health Systems Baltimore, Inc., for $1,791,974 under amount of money and source. We are striking the start date and end date. There are no walk-ons to note this morning. We have a deferral to note, SB 25-12271 for the Department of Public Works. This is an award to Spinello Companies for WC 1349R, Madison Street Area 30-inch water main rehabilitation for $13,923,300. A protest has been received from Robert Fulton DeShiel, representing Northeast Remsco Construction, Inc., and this item has been deferred to August. Is that? Okay, I'll keep going. This item has been deferred until August 20th, 2025 at the request of the agency. We have one withdrawal this morning, SB 2511834 for the Bureau of Procurement, an amendment, a first amendment to an agreement with Potts and Callahan renewal and increase for B506240. Also known as SCON 001918, heavy equipment rental and operator service for $3 million. This item was withdrawn at the request of the agency. Again, we did receive a protest related to SB 25-12271, DPW awards Spinello Companies. And this item has also, again, been deferred until August 20th, 2025. The following items are on the non-routine agenda this morning. SB 25-12195, Mayor's Office of Recovery Programs Grant Agreement, Baltimore City Opioid Restitution Fund, Behavioral Health Systems Baltimore 988 Lifeline Awareness and Use Campaign for $10 million. SB 25-12232, Baltimore City Health Department notification of grant award, Maryland Department of Aging for $2,711,855. SB 25-11588, Mayor's Office of Homeless Services. This is an emergency procurement with MOI Incorporated for $216,759.35. SB 25-12106, Parking Authority of Baltimore City. This was an emergency procurement. An extension has been requested for Group 3 garage management agreements for $90,708. And SB 25-11681, the Comptroller's Office, resolution of the Board of Estimates establishing minimum health care requirements. We have the following abstentions to note this morning. The Honorable Mayor Brandon M. Scott is abstaining on SB 25-12132, Health Department Provider Agreement, Johns Hopkins University. SB 25-12235, Health Department Provider Agreement, Johns Hopkins University. And SB 25-11881, Health Department Provider Agreement, Johns Hopkins University. City Administrator Faith Leach has no abstentions to note this morning. The Honorable Vice President Sharon Middleton has no abstentions to note this morning. The Honorable Comptroller Bill Henry is abstaining on all travel requests and travel reimbursements. City Solicitor Ebony Thompson has no abstentions to note this morning, and Acting Director of Public Works Matt Garbark has no abstentions to note this morning. Would you like to replace your nameplate at this time? Okay. We also received no votes at the very start of the meeting. These are related to SB 25-11681, which is now on the non-routine agenda, so those votes can be noted at that time. And Madam President, that concludes our opening statement for this morning.
Thank you. At this time, I ask for a motion to approve and adopt the opening statement as read by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The opening statement has been adopted. I now direct the board members' attention to the memorandum from the office dated July 16, 2025, identifying matters to be considered as routine agenda items, together with any corrections, additions, abstentions, and no votes that have been noted by the clerk. I will entertain a motion to approve all the items contained on the routine agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. All of those in favor of approving the items on the routine agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The routine agenda items have been adopted. The opening statement having been adopted, I want to take a point of privilege to point out that we have now approved a big step on a major project in the Park Heights community and surrounding areas and have been lacking for decades. We have now approved funds to being the construction of the Park Heights branch of the Enoch Pratt Library, and my constituents couldn't be happier. I want to recognize members of the Park Heights Renaissance who are here to support that project, and we are all watching as everything moves forward. And could those just stand and say, and people, I think I saw some people. Oh, there you are. Okay. Thank you, Tarina, which is representing Park Heights Renaissance today. This new library branch will be a huge asset in the Park Heights community and serving residents down towards Druid Hill Park as well. I commend the administration for their commitment for this project that we have just been, I can go back to when I first started on the council, and this has, for me personally, this has just been something that I saw right at the beginning for a need for this community, because we know that resources in communities are so important. And for me, this is just a wonderful milestone of the great work that our mayor and our comptroller are just, all of our eyes are focused. And, you know, and it's important that I say we haven't had a brand-new building library that, you know, the city and mostly every agency has been involved in. And it's not just the residents of Park Heights that this is going to serve. It's going to serve the entire city. It just happens to be located in an area that needed this resource. Just imagine a community in walking distance in close to 20 years that didn't have a place to go and just pick up a book and try to learn some things. This is going to be a state-of-the-art library for the entire city where we can get resources for any subject. It's going to help our single mothers that you know, need to have a place to set their child and also continue to learn things. It's just going to be an uplifting piece of work that is just so needed. And for this to happen cohesively with what's about to happen at Pimlico is just so rewarding. So I really, I can't say it enough, I appreciate everything that this administration has been doing to work with me, working with the organizations within that community and the residents that really need this wonderful piece of work. And it also goes along with having that Main Street, and I can't say it enough, it's the longest Main Street in the entire state of Maryland. So I could go on, but I just had to make that statement before we move forward, because We just need to talk about it, and we need to continue as a city, tell our own story of what we continue to do to help the residents in all of the communities that all of us represent in our prospective positions. So on that note, yes.
So, thank you so much, Madam Vice President. I, too, wanted to take a point of personal privilege, but to thank you. It was the leadership of Vice President Middleton who continued to push this administration to get this library project done, to get it across the finish line, so that we can actually start the process of building what will be the first brand-new library in the city of Baltimore. Now, I think it's over 15 years since we've had a brand-new library. And thank you to the ARPA team, the MORP team for your leadership. Also, Berke Attila is usually with us, but the Department of General Services, also our real estate team, and all of the partners that played a role in getting this project done. But I just really want to underscore the leadership of the Vice President, as well as Park Heights Renaissance and the community who pushed us to get this project done, and also the leadership at the Enoch Pratt Free Library as well, who's been working with us in the state. There are so many partners that came together to build the capital stack to get the city this brand new library. And so just want to thank each and every one of them. There's a private donor and investor as well that's a part of this project. So really, it is a multi-layered capital stack that we've been able to build to get Park Heights a brand new library. And I would be remiss if I did not also acknowledge and thank my boss, Mayor Brandon Scott, who is from the Park Heights community, who also pushed me to get all of our agencies working together to get this project moving. And I am so very proud that this is on the board today, as you are sitting here chairing the Board of Estimates. So we'll tell the council president that we did that on purpose.
Thank you, C.A. Leach, for your kind words and, again, the work of your team. And I think Comptroller Henry would like to say some words on that as well.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Frequent watchers and attendees at Board of Estimates know that I will never miss an opportunity to say nice things about the library, and I'm always very happy when the city is able to put more resources and invest more into the library system. If not for all of the other wonderful things that a library is for, I am a very fervent believer that libraries are tools for public safety, because libraries are youth development, and a kid in a library is not somewhere else getting into trouble. And that is about as plain as I can put it. I also would just take a moment to say I was fortunate enough last week to be at an event where Carmelo Anthony and his foundation announced that there will be an exhibit at Pratt Central later this year, celebrating his being named to the Hall of Fame, the NBA Hall of Fame. And the hope right now is that sufficient resources can be raised for that exhibit to not only have it at Pratt Central, but to also have activities and engagement at every branch around the city, and engage all of our communities and show all of our communities and our kids what the opportunities are that are available to them. Again, I also share, I'm sorry that the mayor isn't here to hear us talking about libraries and not being teased about them not being rec centers. And so I'm very happy for you and for your constituents.
Thank you. Thank you, Comptroller Henry. And so it looks like the Office of General Services has their charge. Seeing no further questions, we will now move to the non-routine agenda. The next item on the non-routine agenda is SB 25-12195. This is a request for the Mayor's Office of Recovery Programs to approve a grant agreement with Behavioral Health System Baltimore for the 988 Lifeline Awareness and Use Campaign. On behalf of the administration, we have Acting Director Elizabeth Tatum. Director Tatum, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good morning, honorable members of the Board of Estimates. I will say this is my first time presenting before the board, and it's nice to have such a warm and celebratory tone to start the morning. I'm Elizabeth Tatum, Acting Director of the Mayor's Office of Recovery Programs. I am also I'll be joined later by Adrian Bridenstine, VP of Policy and Communications for the Behavioral Health System Baltimore. And I'm pleased to present the 988 Lifeline Awareness and Use Campaign and Opioid Restitution Fund grant agreement to the board for approval this morning. I have a brief presentation that summarizes the work that this grant will support, and then I will ask VP Bridenstine to come forward to address a few specific questions we received from the City Council President's Office about BHSB 988 in coordination with law enforcement agencies, and then we'll open the floor for any questions. So we do have a presentation this morning, and it looks like that is not yet projected.
Oh, we can see it on.
You can see it. Okay, wonderful. Then I will start. So for the benefit of the public, I'll start by providing a very brief background on the Opioid Restitution Fund. So in 2018, the city initiated legal action against opioid manufacturers and distributors for their role in the opioid epidemic in Baltimore City. Thus far, the city has reached settlements totaling $402.5 million. As many on this board already know, many of those settlements name specific nonprofits and community-based organizations that would receive defined amounts of grant funding to address the overdose crisis. In an executive order issued in August of 2024, Mayor Scott established the Opioid Restitution Fund and provided a framework for how these funds would be governed and administered. 988 was named in two separate settlement agreements for $5 million each, the Teva Pharmaceuticals and Walgreens settlements. Behavioral Health System Baltimore is the entity that runs 988 in Baltimore City and Central Maryland, and BHSB also functions as the local behavioral health authority for Baltimore City. Next slide, please.
It's up.
Great. So I do want to offer a few comments about the 988 service in general, and just talk about its importance in our city and its connection to our overdose response strategic plan. Baltimore and the region has been a leader in 988 public education program. There is a community ambassador program, many ways that 988 is being advanced through messaging to the public, and there's also been engagement with front-facing agencies such as BPD, Fire Department, Homeless Services, and others. In calendar year 2024, Baltimore City received 15,712 calls to 988, which represents 52% of the total call volume for Central Maryland region. So there is absolutely an opportunity for the community to gain greater awareness of 988 and to use 988 and to understand all of the different ways that it can provide support and resources, but there's already some excellent engagement. The call volume continues to rise, and less than 2% of 988 calls are escalated or returned back to police or EMS. This $10 million investment in 988 most directly connects to Priority 3 of the city's draft strategic plan, which is focused on confronting systems, policies, and practices that perpetuate stigma to reduce barriers to care. We know that one of the important ways that we can reduce barriers to care is to simply inform the public that services and resources are available to them. Next slide, please. This is a $10 million grant that will occur over a 5-year period. And the goal and the explicit purpose of the settlement dollars is for outreach and marketing. It is not intended to support 988 operations in general. I will speak to that briefly. It is truly to complete community engagement and a significant public awareness campaign over a 5-year period. I will note that the plan is for BHSB to hire a full-time community engagement specialist, and that person will help expand the 988 Ambassador Program, and they'll attend at least 80 events annually during the grant period. And then the awareness campaign is going to target different populations, including older men over 45 years old, 13 to 24-year-olds, the LGBTQ+ community, emergency and pre-emergency adults, and people with substance use disorder. 988, I know for many folks, is commonly understood as a resource for folks experiencing a mental health crisis and as suicide crisis incidents. And 988 provides much more broad support than that. And so this will be about informing the public about all the different resources that are available through 988. Next slide, please. Funding for 988 operations. So one of the questions that our office had, and I've certainly received from others, is, well, if this is as successful as we want it to be and call volume increases substantially, what is the funding for 988 operations to ensure that the answer rate continues to be very high, the quality continues to be very high, and there are not dropped calls or other operational issues? Can they properly scale with the influx of calls that they should be receiving as a result of this campaign? So I'll note that the 988 operations are funded by a telecom fee levied by the state of Maryland. This is enacted through legislation in 2024, signed by both the chambers and signed into law by the governor, and the law took effect in October of 2024. The revenue from that telecom fee is kept in a trust managed by the state comptroller, and BHSB receives its allocation of those funds on an annual basis. There is the opportunity, should projections not be fully accurate at the start of the year, to revisit and to request additional funds or complete a budget modification mid-year. And then in my final slide, before I turn things over to VP Bridenstine, I'll briefly describe the budget here. So what you see on the screen is a 5-year budget, and personnel, it covers personnel, fringe benefits for those personnel, very modest travel and supply costs, contracts and consultants, and other costs. And then there's also an indirect cost line, and those indirect costs align with the federal government's guidance, which is 15%. I will note that the personnel covers a full-time community engagement specialist, and then also portions of time from the director of communications and a communications manager. The contracts line, which you'll note, is a substantial portion of the $10 million. A portion of that, around $120,000 across 5 years, is for citywide opinion polling to gauge Baltimore City residents' awareness, understanding, and attitudes towards 988. And then the communication and marketing contract. So this will be competitively bid, and the structure of this contract will be similar to what BHSB has done in the past. So it will be a 5-year contract that will last for 1 year each, and with options for renewal each year, so that if there are performance issues or things are not going well, there's an option to exit the contract and find another vendor. And then other costs include printing, registration fees, staff participation, and professional development. And with that, I will turn things over to VP Bridenstine, and I'll name the two specific questions that we received from the City Council President's Office that we want to cover this morning. So one question was how many times BHSB has collaborated with law enforcement for events to market and promote the 988 services. And then a general question about how BHSB coordinates with public safety agencies to collaborate on crisis response. And I will note that the purpose of this grant agreement is truly about awareness and outreach. We're not looking at modifying or changing the service model in any way. This is truly about creating more awareness. And then once VP Bridenstine is completed, I'll step back up for Q&A.
Oh,
Okay, I have a couple questions, and
well, I think she wants
You wanna do the-
let
okay.
VP
Yes.
Bridenstine
Go
go,
ahead.
And then you'll both be available for.
okay. Good morning.
Turn it on.
On?
Yes.
Yes, great. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to address your questions. I'm Adrienne Bridenstine with Behavioral Health System Baltimore. Just very briefly want to expand on what Elizabeth said on our role. We are a nonprofit. We are the city's local behavioral health authority. So in that role, we oversee all of the services within the system of care. We don't provide direct service. So we are not the 988 operator. We fund 3 providers that operate the 988 helpline in Central Maryland. So that money that comes from the telecom fee comes to BHSB, we manage it, and we hold those providers accountability for performance and just providing the care in the city. So as it relates to how we collaborate with law enforcement, BHSB collaborates with the Baltimore City and Police Department on a very regular basis, in particular to address the findings in the consent decree. As it relates to that, so as it relates to that, we do a couple of key things. We co-lead the Behavioral Health Collaborative with BPD and the city. We coordinate training for all of the BPD officers on mental health awareness, which includes training them on when and how to use 988. We provide the police department information and resources on 988 that they can use out in the field. We also participate in Sentinel events, which are confidential case reviews of situations that end in crisis or death, and they come out with recommendations on how to improve the system of care. So those are some of the key ways that we partner with BPD and law enforcement. As it relates to community engagement, we take our lead and direction from the consent decree monitoring team, community liaison, which is in charge of really helping BPD think through how they engage with the community, while also at the same time ensuring that they meet the goals of the consent decree, which is really to reduce police involvement in engaging people with mental health crisis. So that lead is really set at the direction of that person. And right now, the partnership, again, has been making sure that law enforcement and BPD officers understand 988, when to use it, how to use it, and have resources to give people in the field. So I am going to turn it back to Elizabeth.
Happy to take any questions.
And we'll go ahead and start with members of the board first, if you have questions. Comptroller Henry.
Thank you. And I'm honestly not sure if this question is better for one of you than the other.
Sure.
You mentioned that less than 2% of the calls from 988 get moved over to police or fire, so transferred to 911 for that dispatch. Do either of you have numbers for the other direction? Like, how often do calls come into 911 that get referred to 988?
I'll ask VP Bridenstine if she has that data.
Yeah,
We
okay.
can certainly take that as a follow-up item and provide that to you.
I would definitely appreciate that. And I don't think I'm surprising anyone when I say every time you have a situation where the police respond and there ends up being some type of I don't know what the better word for this is. The police have to use violence to subdue someone, and then questions arise of, were there mental health problems involved? Why wasn't a mental health professional at the scene to,
Sure, certainly.
yeah, I was like, I'm trying to get a read on, clearly if people are calling 988, they know that there's a mental health issue involved. What is unclear is, to what extent does policy allow the 911 dispatcher to try to determine that?
Would you like me to respond?
Go ahead.
Sure. So we actually have an award-winning 911 diversion program. And so in that program, that's exactly what we're doing. We're actually having 911 call takers divert calls from 911 over to 988. I will get you the exact data, but we actually do have a robust program. I want to say we launched it in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, through fire in partnership with our emergency response teams.
Does that diversion program allow for the concept of, instead of referring it, can they come along also to provide advice and counsel for the police who are responding? And the reason I ask that is, I do remember being told by 911 at an earlier point that if there is a clear danger of armed violence, they have to send the police, which I get that, but I've never gotten a straight answer on, do the police have to bring a mental health care professional with them to advise them on how to deal with a potentially violent subject?
So I would just say, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint that exact hypothetical. In general, when calls come into 911, there's been a lot of training. This is all required under the consent decree for 911 operators, when calls should be diverted to 988, when calls should be treated as 911 police response calls. There's also been a huge influx, and part of what 988 works with is sending out mobile crisis teams. So these are the types of behavioral health focused teams that go out and can respond to individuals in crisis. As far as that sort of hybrid situation where it's somebody who's in crisis but there is a threat, there's always going to be police presence involved in that. Sure. And part of that is also, there's been a huge increase in terms of CIT training, crisis intervention training for the police department. So that's also part of the focus, is ensuring that there's also BPD officers on site who have that crisis intervention training. I think if your question is, would a behavioral health, can you, in a situation where somebody's in a behavioral health crisis, the call comes into 911, there's sort of a threat to the community. Again, BPD is going to take the lead, is going to be responding to that if there's a threat to the public. Yeah. But there's also going to, they're absolutely going to try and include crisis intervention trained police officers.
That's what I'm trying to get a handle on. I can't, like, you have just like described it as this could happen. I'm trying to get a sense of, does it? Like, how is the system constructed so that actually does happen?
So that you're saying that somebody from BPD goes out with a behavioral health,
or they, I mean, they don't have to go pick them up. I mean, like, they can, like, but both a mental health crisis team and police officers can both be dispatched to a situation where they may both be needed.
Yeah, again, I think from BPD's focus, it's about ensuring that the BPD officers with the CIT training are present at those situations. But absolutely, I think there's calls can go, you could have a call that went out, that was also deferred to 988, there was a focus on ensuring that there was a non-law enforcement trained behavioral health expert that was able to accompany that the police response to that incident. But it's really the
Yeah.
focus is more
At
on
this
that.
point, I'm willing to postpone until why don't we get the numbers? And
Sure,
find out
Chief-
how
Chief-
often this does actually
So
happen
it,
or
it
not.
happens significantly as far as the referrals, if you're because we, again, have an entire 911 diversion program we've had it since 2021. What you're asking about is not diversions from 911 to 988. You're asking about what happens after the call is diverted, and there needs to be kind of a mobile, like a crisis response team that includes mental health providers, social workers, and/or public safety response.
Technically, I'm asking about more than one thing.
Okay.
The first thing is the efficacy of the diversion. And so numbers that can be researched and provided of showing how often calls go from 911 to 988. That will answer my first question very straightforwardly and objectively. The slightly more subjective question is more of a policy one in terms of how does it work for the 911 dispatch to work collaboratively, like instead of just one sends something to the other, how easy is it for them to work collaboratively and determine that a call that comes in to either 911 or 988, but I'm presuming 911 is going to be the bigger issue. How do you determine that a call requires both responses? Because as much as I appreciate the efforts of the BPD to train their officers better, that is not the same as saying that the CIT officers are trained mental health
Yeah.
professionals.
So I think to answer your question, two things. First, on the data, that's
Yeah.
straightforward. We gather that. I think that can easily be shared. On the second point, how that would work ordinarily, if there is a risk, if there's a threat to the public, that's going to get diverted. That's going to go through to BPD. BPD is going to handle that response. However, BPD, in addition to having CIT training for a large number of their officers, is also trained on reaching out to mobile crisis teams themselves, who could then come and support that response. I think that's kind of more.
That's more where I'm
Where
trying
I'm
to
trying
get
to
a
go.
sense
Yeah.
of. And so I'd like to also see numbers on how often that happens.
I actually.
So here's where I want to make sure that we're pretty clear. So, and I think there's an opportunity, and I think we are going to spend some time as a city on just the behavioral health ecosystem in Baltimore. So we should be clear about roles here and the role of BHSB versus the role of BCRI versus the role of BPD and or our the fire department and EMS, for example, right? So there are multiple players that are involved in this system, and those folks actually meet through the Behavioral Health Collaborative, which I believe is meeting sometime this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then separately, there are other coordination meetings that are tied to paragraph 97 of the consent decree, which Allie Smith, who just recently departed, was leading the coordination of that work from the mayor's office. But related to, so when we talk about the mobile crisis response, that's BCRI. That's not BHSB, right? BCRI also plays a role where, one, they are training BPD on trauma-informed care. They're working with the BPD to train those CIT-trained officers, for example. But they also have these mobile crisis response teams. Separately, we also have the LEAD program, right? And LEAD is a partnership program where low-level offenses, when you think prostitution and other things of that nature, individuals experiencing homelessness that may be involved in some activity, that can be referred to LEAD instead of to BPD, because there are specifics about BPD's engagement with individuals experiencing homelessness as well as individuals who are suffering from behavioral health crises, right? So that also goes through LEAD, which is through BCRI, for example. And so what this is an ecosystem. Do we get it right every time? No, we don't get it right every time. But what we have built here in the city of Baltimore, and where I actually think we are really leading other cities who are still grappling with building the tools in the ecosystem, is we actually have the tools. We have mobile crisis response teams. Now, there are times where those mobile crisis response teams respond, and then they send it back to law enforcement. for example, because there's a threat of violence or there are some other public safety concerns where they believe law enforcement needs to be involved. But we have multiple tools in the toolbox. And what we need to do as a city is make sure that all of the players in this ecosystem are trained, they understand all of the referrals and the tools that are available to them, and that we are better coordinating. And that is what we're going to commit ourselves to doing.
And on that point, some of my questions were answered, but I want to add, as C.A. Leach mentioned, this kind of started like in 2021. They have, being a part of MACO and NACO, Maryland Association of Counties, National Association of Counties, they did win awards for this. So, and this is a state award and a national award. And so we are definitely on the forefront with this. And your questions were very on point, just letting me understand that training is just so important and that coordination is just the key. I guess my question, since this particular, pot of money is, as you mentioned, for outreach and engagement, I really like to have some more information on how you're going to reach out to, and get your contracts from, neighborhood groups and nonprofits that probably are doing work now as well, but need to be a part of this system, and they need that extra funding to help with that. What does that look like in a little more detail with that?
Sure. Well, I'll speak to the process for contracting, and this it will be for a significant amount of money, as we've noted in the budget, and it will be competitively bid. And BHSB is going to work to build out the scope of work once this is awarded, and then that will certainly be something that is shared with our office before that gets issued. And then there will be a period of engagement with the selected vendor to talk about what are the appropriate strategies, whether that's digital or print media or engagement with community groups. So the sort of the array of different strategies within that contract is something that will occur during that competitive process. So those are not defined yet, but they will be through the process. And the goal, of course, is to reach as many people as possible with a focus on target populations through all different kinds of channels.
And hoping that includes the council, and also, we have two strong committees that are, just working and want to stay on point with this as well. So, and also, as council members, we do, we are the voice locally within our respective areas, and we pretty much know who is out there doing the work as well. So please help to keep us involved.
Certainly. And I will also note that there is, and I did provide some of this in writing prior to today's presentation, there is a robust strategy for performance measurement and evaluation of this work. So not only will there be opinion polling of residents to understand how's awareness changed, how are residents perceiving 988, but there will also be, every time there's a particular campaign that is run with BHSB and its contractor, there will be an evaluation process to see how did this work. So it's not like we sort of set a course and we stay on that and don't divert for 5 years. There's a process for re-examining and saying what can we continue to do better, and how can we reach all the different folks who really need this
Are you
service.
involved in the listening sessions that are set up, the opioid response
Yes.
listening sessions?
Yes, so I
Okay.
had the opportunity to attend the first one in Cherry Hill, One of my colleagues will be attending, and I may be attending, depending on how things go for me, tomorrow evening. And then the Baltimore City Mayor's Office of Overdose Response, which is led by Sarah Whaley, Executive Director Whaley, who's present here. Her office has really taken the lead on organizing all of those things. So her office is really the strategy and policy arm, and then we're helping with overseeing these grant agreements, compliance, and financial oversight.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Any additional questions from the board? Seeing no further questions, I would entertain a motion to approve this item.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving this item, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. This item is approved and is approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the first item on the non-routine agenda is SB 25-12232 from the Health Department. This is a request to approve the notification of grant award from the Maryland Department of Aging. On behalf of the Health Department, we have Deputy Commissioner Byron Pugh. Deputy Commissioner, the floor is yours. Oh, okay. Please identify yourself. Turn it, thank you.
Good morning, President Middleton and members of the BOE. I wanted to come today as well as, yes, I'm Mary Beth Haller, Interim Commissioner of Health for Baltimore City Health Department.
Sure.
And I wanted to join Deputy Byron Pugh, who is our new division deputy for Aging and Community Services in the Health Department, to support this important work. And we really appreciate being given the opportunity to speak to this grant award today. I'm going to give a brief overview, and then for any detailed questions that aren't answered in this, I'm going to ask Deputy Pugh to come up to the podium as well.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's a... Got it?
There we go.
Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, skipping over the intro, I will give a brief introduction and overview, a breakdown of some of the activities that will be funded, and as well as coordination with the Mayor's Office of Older Adult Affairs and Advocacy, some of the service types and program directives, and then allow time for questions. So this grant award comes to us through HHS, Administration of Community Living, and it's a pass-through from the Maryland Department of Aging. It is a two-part disbursement on a grant. The first part of approximately $2 million was received in March of this year, and this is the grant award for the second part, which is approximately $2,700,000, which was received on June the 5th. This makes the total grant award approximately $4,800,000. This grant supports BCHD and the Division of Aging and Community Support Mission as a designated area agency on aging to provide services to enable older adults to age in place in their homes and communities of their choice. Programs funded include information and assistance, advocacy, legal services, meal programs, in-home services, family caregiver support, recreational and socialization activities, and health promotion. The goal of the programs is to support Baltimore's residents' participation in meaningful civic, cultural, and educational and recreational opportunities while maintaining independence, dignity, and protection against abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The funds are going to support a wide range of services, the Baltimore City Health Department Division of Aging, and we have a list here for you to view of some of the allocations. Administration, $420,000. Meal programs, $1,264,000. Caregiver support, $485,000. Guardianship, $126,000. Health promotion, $64,000. Home delivered meal programs, $1.2 million. home sharing, $8,500, legal assistance, $74,000, long-term care ombudsman, $753,000, and senior center programs amounting to $956,420. And I hope you don't mind my rounding up on some of those figures as I was reading through those. The service areas that are funded with the NGA support these resources, programs, and staff. Also work directly with the Mayor's Office of Older Adult Affairs and Advocacy, which provides referred constituent support, older adult overdose prevention training, Maryland Access Point coordination, community engagement, events based at the Division of Aging Centers serving older adults, a series of recurring older adult summits and older adult seminars, ongoing support for the office, staffing of the Mayor's Commission on Aging, Retirement, and Empowerment. The program staff at the Mayor's Office of Older Adults Affairs and Advocacy staff are housed at the Division of Aging Centers serving older adults. And I believe that is the last slide, or is there one more?
There's one that talks about.
Yes. So the services are delivered by both city employees through contracts, including subgrants to nonprofit organizations. We estimate about 80% of the funds in the grant award are delivered through contracts and subgrants, and about 20% by city employees. The contractors include Meals on Wheels of Central Maryland, Associated Catholic Charities. Subgrantees include the Forest Park Senior Center, the Bar Association of Baltimore City, and Govans Ecumenical Development Corporation. Aging program directives consist of policy guidance and instructions issued by the Maryland Department of Aging to local area agencies on aging, and they're based on federal and state statutes. Examples of aging program directives include instructions for preparation of the annual area plan and instructions for completion of program data reports. And I believe that may be the last slide, yes. And I'm happy to take any questions and invite also Deputy Pugh to the podium.
Thank you. So, yes, as a person that is an older adult and also a representative on the Commission of Aging, and we also have the new, Mayor's Office of Older Adult Affairs and Advocacy. And I hear you say supporting that office. Does that mean support with funding?
Yeah,
Are
it does-
you
it does.
allotting funding to that office?
Good morning, Madam President. We are not funding that office through this NGA or through our other funding sources. These grants are highly prescriptive and have been in place for several years now, so this allocation would not allow for funding for that.
So when you say outreach, then how are you going to do that outreach if agencies do need help to get that outreach out, and also nonprofits and organizations that work within the community? Give me a snapshot of that kind of support and outreach, and how is this office going to be able to help?
Sure. So we are definitely open to future conversations about exploring funding mechanisms for the office. Currently, the outreach is largely through partnerships. The Mayor's Office for Adult Affairs and Advocacy would lead an initiative, community event, would reach out to us. We would identify our partners as well as Maryland Access Point. We would attend the event, provide resources, and engage with constituents and participants who attended the event. For our senior center programs or our centers that serve older adults, we work very closely with the Mayor's Office for Older Adult Affairs and Advocacy for cultural events and community engagement events that are hosted there. We provide staff for those events, and we provide other support on site as far as educational resources, trainings, and as well as Narcan training through our community risk reduction services. So it's an integrated kind of dynamic, but there is currently no funding.
Okay. I noticed, too, that one of the things was Meals on Wheels and kind of working with them, which is a very good organization. How do you play that role in helping with Meals on Wheels and getting, meals in, not just in senior centers, but does housing play a role in this? And get, where seniors live or
Yes.
older adults?
So the congregate dining programs, some of those do exist at senior housing buildings that are privately managed. And we partner with them to ensure that meals are provided on site to the older adults that live in congregate housing and sign up for the program. So there's an eligibility process and enrollment process, but we're very active at senior housing providing congregate dining.
Okay. Do my colleagues on the board have any questions? Yes, C.A. Leach.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Vice President Middleton, for your questions, but also, much like with the Park Heights Library, also your leadership and advocacy around creating the Mayor's Office of Older Adult Advocacy, which is led by Ms. Andoria Harmon. Ms. Andoria is not here with us today because she's over at the Sandtown Senior Center and has been very active in some of the older adult facilities and the senior centers across the city. But I did want to highlight the close relationship and partnership between the Health Department and the Division of Aging at the Health Department in the Mayor's Office of Older Adult Advocacy led by Ms. Andoria. And so while the funds that we receive from the state and also our federal partners are very prescriptive, given the fact that they are the area agency on aging, there is a very close coordination and partnership with Ms. Andoria's office. And so whenever the Office of Older Adult Advocacy is out in community, they are working directly with the Office on Aging to bring the resources, whether it's guardianship resources, Narcan training, just other resources that are funded through the funds that are at the Health Department. They're bringing those resources into senior centers through events that are organized by Ms. Andoria's office. So I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that connectivity and partnership.
Thank you for that added explanation, and also good to see that some help is happening or will be happening at the Forest Park Library, which is private, but it's a needed location for that part of the city. So those are the only questions that I have. Any further questions? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. George Henry.
I really just have a vocabulary question because we've spoken a lot about older adults. Is that now the term of art that we used to use
Yes.
senior for? Okay.
Yes.
So when is an older adult an older adult? Because I knew when a senior was a senior, and I just want to check.
So it depends on the act or funding source and or agency, but we typically identify the 60 and older.
60. That's what I wanted to hear. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, yeah, just a hashtag asking for a friend.
Excellent question. Thank you for your time and answering the questions. Seeing no further questions, I will entertain a motion to approve this item.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving this item, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. This item is approved. The next item on the non-routine agenda is SB 25-11588 from the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services. This request is to note an emergency procurement for MOI Inc. On behalf of MOHS, we have Director Ernestina Simmons from Director Simmons, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Ernestina Simmons, the Director for the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services. The item that we have on here today is for MOI installation. What we're attempting to do is create a health and wellness center at WHRC, which is our non-congregate shelter space. What we're hoping to do is we currently have healthcare and DSS that's already upstairs on the upper level, but we're looking to bring in mental health providers, substance abuse providers, and other community-based organizations. So this space is going to be redesigned to have more office spaces with acoustics and we've actually creating several pods that's going to be built inside the space, as well as a nice little area for people to just wait for services or to wait and do nothing, because people deserve to have a space to wait and do nothing at. And so that is the goal of this contract.
Are there any questions from the members of the board? Comptroller Henry.
Thank you, Madam President. So just wanted to check, what's your timeline for establishing a pre-qualified supplier list for the kinds of specialized furnishings that you need here and will probably need in other shelters as well?
Yes, so Moy is the vendor, and so what we had them do is to come and outfit it. This was a goal for so many months, sir. So we started the work of them coming out. DGS helped us to find a vendor, and so they're going to be the ones to do the work and the installation.
So you don't need a list. This particular vendor can do all of the specialized furnishings that you're looking at?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the second question is, should we be expecting any more emergency procurement requests similar to this before we actually see these places go up and start to work?
Not for this contract. No, sir. Not for. I don't anticipate any additional expenses for this particular wellness center.
But for other?
Or homeless services. I mean, I'm just kidding, sir. No, I don't anticipate anything else coming from an EPR for this.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, this item is noted by this board.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. The next item on the non-routine agenda is SB 25-12106 from the Parking Authority of Baltimore City. This request is to note an emergency procurement extension for Group 3 garage management agreements. On behalf of PABC, we have Director Peter Little. Director Little, the floor is yours.
Good morning, board members. I am Pete Little, Executive Director with the Parking Authority of Baltimore City. So this item is a 1-month extension of an agreement with PMS Parking to manage the West Street and the Marina garages until management of those garages can transition to SP Plus parking on August the 1st. So 2 weeks ago, this board approved an extension of a contract with SP Plus parking for management of 3 garages, Caroline Street, Fleet and Eden, and Little Italy garages, until August the 1st. And on that date, August 1st, those 2 companies will swap those 2 sets of garages. So I'm asking for the board's approval of this 1-month extension.
Any questions?
Okay.
Yeah, any questions from the board? Seeing no further questions, this item is noted by the board.
All right,
Thank you.
For the last one, Casey's going to do the briefing for it.
Oh, okay. And I guess that's this one, right? The next item on the non-routine agenda is SB 25-11681. This is a request for the comptroller to approve a resolution establishing minimum health care requirements. On behalf of the comptroller's office, we have Casey Keller.
Keller.
Oh, hi, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Casey Kelleher, the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Office of the Comptroller. To echo everyone before me, thank you for the opportunity to be up here. I want to note, I love that people appreciate the opportunity to present on what I call the show and tell agenda. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. So I'm here to talk about the resolution put forth by our office. This resolution was developed by the Office of the Comptroller in direct response to a report issued by the Office of the Inspector General in October 2024. That report highlighted a troubling fact. A significant number of our Department of Public Works employees were working without health insurance. The resolution proposes 2 policy changes to strengthen the city's approach to employee health care coverage. First, it makes health insurance enrollment the default for all employees, shifting from an opt-in model to an opt-out model. This means that unless an employee proactively provides proof of coverage through another source, they will automatically be enrolled in the city's lowest cost employee health insurance plan. Second, the resolution sets a new minimum for the healthcare waiver credit at $5,000. This is the credit that employees can receive if they opt out of city coverage and work with HR to verify that they have alternative insurance. We did this because our review of the city's labor agreement showed a wide disparity in how this credit was applied across bargaining units. Some units received $2,500, while one newer bargaining unit didn't receive a credit at all. In the spirit of transparency and equity and meaningful compensation, we're proposing that this healthcare waiver credit be a $5,000 floor. This ensures that employees who do not cost the city anything with health insurance receive a fair and consistent financial benefit. Some more notes. Importantly, this resolution does not limit the ability of the bargaining units to negotiate for more. It just sets a baseline. In preparing this policy, we worked closely with the law department. I really want to thank them for their diligence on this. And they also, who in turn engaged outside counsel to review this for tax benefits. We gathered input from the labor representatives who added language to this resolution to reflect their concerns and particularly to affirm that this measure in no way undermines the collective bargaining process. This is our practical, hopefully simple resolution we put forward for the board's consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the board? Comptroller Henry?
So before today's meeting started, the city administrator, the acting director of Public Works, and the city solicitor had registered no votes for this resolution, which prompted us to move the resolution to the non-routine agenda. My hope was to have a conversation here, so I wanted to ask how that conversation should start if no one has any questions.
Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Comptroller. I don't have any questions because we've engaged in multiple meetings on this topic, probably maybe about 6 to 8 weeks or so. Has it been that long?
Well, I'm looking here at the city solicitor signed off on this resolution for form and sufficiency on May 14th. So yeah, I think we've been talking about this for about 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, so while I don't have any questions, what I can do is to note what our concerns are with the resolution that is before us. So as I just mentioned, we spent some time with the comptroller's office, as well as the labor commissioner, our law department, and as well as DHR, finance, because this is a multi-layered, while it may appear simple, it impacts the city's budget. It also impacts our ongoing negotiations and bargaining. We're at the table with every single one of our unions right now. And so we wanted to make sure that we brought all of those stakeholders to the table to be a part of a discussion with the comptroller about this particular resolution. And what we've determined is while we support the spirit and intent of the resolution, we have very serious concerns about it impacting our collective bargaining ability and setting a precedent. And so that is why, for that reason in particular, I in particular registered a no vote, and other members of the administration as well.
So based on the way that healthcare benefits were explained to me by the finance department, my understanding is that for every budgeted position that is eligible for benefits, when we put the budget together, part of the OPCs, the other personnel costs, is we budget for that position to have, the city's the city's cost of doing the healthcare benefits for that position. So my understanding is that that number we budget, the average is in excess of $14,000. So any waiver credit that is less than what we budget for each position's health benefits would not have a negative effect on the city's budget, because as it is, anytime somebody doesn't take their health benefits and chooses the waiver credit, that's actually found money afterwards in the budget for either for that agency or for BBMR in general. I'm not quite sure how that mechanism works, but how is there a budget impact from a larger waiver credit that is still smaller than what is budgeted for benefits?
So, thank you. I appreciate that question. So there are a couple of things that go into benefit determinations. We go through an actuarial analysis. There's long-term forecasting that is done as well when it comes to the cost of benefits and what we budget as a city. And so, again, those are things that, I mean, as an administration, we want to be good fiscal stewards, right? We want to take the time and do the due diligence to understand what, if any, impact that there will be to the budget. Also, what you're talking about is while each union negotiates with the labor commissioner on what the waiver credit is, we're now saying, well, we're going to disregard that and we're going to establish a new floor, right? And so, again, we do forecasting and analysis based off of what we've negotiated with each of the unions to determine, what is placed in our budget. So, again, as I mentioned, these are all the competing factors that impact this, but the largest concern here is that we're at the table with our union partners, and we believe that we should be good faith stewards of that negotiation, and we should take this up directly with them.
So we spoke with the, I forget the term, commission. There is a group of representatives from each of the bargaining units that works with the Office of the Labor Commissioner, and they function as sort of a clearinghouse, so you can ask questions of all bargaining units at one time. And we went to them about this issue, and they specifically offered wording that the law department signed off on to ensure that this resolution, as currently drafted, does not interfere with their ability to bargain, nor does it interfere with the city's ability to bargain. What it basically says, what this resolution is, and why I introduced this as a resolution, is that this sets city policy. And city policy is saying, you guys can bargain for whatever you want, but in the interest of being equitable to our workers, we are not going to have a floor lower than whatever, $5,000, because right now, some bargaining units had bargained for this and some had not. And some had, for reasons that none of us know, had succeeded in bargaining for an amount in between. All of the current waiver credit values are fractions of what the city is willing to spend on providing healthcare benefits. So any raise in the credit to a moderate, reasonable amount like $5,000 is still not impacting the city's budget. And if the bargaining units and the city want to negotiate a higher rate, they're still welcome to.
I appreciate that. Again, I mean, my point remains the same, that we have historically bargained with the unions on this item, and we are at the table with every single union, and we will continue to bargain versus the Board of Estimates. And this, this goes to the fundamental discussion and question that you and I have been discussing, which is the role of the Board of Estimates, and should the Board of Estimates be weighing in on what are active labor negotiations, right? And so the administration contends that we, again, are at the table, we're having these discussions, we're talking about benefits, we're talking about wages, and we should continue those conversations that are actively happening right now and close those discussions out before, using other mechanisms. So my point remains the same. We in spirit support the intention behind this, but would want to do this directly with the unions. And there has been a union that has come to us and was not in support.
Okay. Well, one of my takeaways from my wonderful time in the city council is there's a point where you just have to agree to disagree, but there's also a point where the other side has the votes and you don't. So that gives a little bit more weight to the we agree to disagree part on your side. Let me move to the other thing, and frankly, I'm comfortable saying this as the primary purpose of this resolution, because as Ms. Kelleher listed, we did this as a response to the OIG's report last October, which had identified over 100 solid waste employees not having health insurance, and when interviewed, they did not know that they could sign up or how to sign up. And it seemed very reasonable to us in discussing this that as a policy, like when we're looking at policy options for resolving this, sure, we could say we could do more of what we're doing and trying harder to educate new employees and get that information out. But in theory, we're already doing that, and it's clearly not working. So that's why we approach this from the perhaps we should just have an opt-out rather than an opt-in system, which again would not cost the city more. It should not have a budgetary impact. It just means when new employees start, they are automatically signed up for whatever the least expensive healthcare option available through our cafeteria plan is, and they can choose to do a more expensive one if they wish to. They can choose to opt out of healthcare entirely if they wish to, because either they're already covered and they want that waiver credit, or because they're not covered but they feel they can't afford to pay for their share of even whatever the least expensive plan is. So if we were to amend this resolution to eliminate the section referring to the waiver credit and just focused this resolution on having the city move to an opt-out system rather than maintain the opt-in system, would that be something that the administration could support?
Thank you so much. I think we would support the spirit and intention of a resolution for opt-out, not opt-in. But again, that goes back to the discussion about the role of the board and if the board should be establishing healthcare policies versus.
Who else should be? Should the council be doing this? Should this be a law?
The council could do it. But we also could bargain that with the unions. Again,
see, that I'll push back on is because you bargain with individual bargaining units, but how the city's healthcare benefits work, that's a citywide policy that needs to affect everybody.
Of course.
Yeah. So how could we bargain that? Why would we bargain that? Did we bargain the current system?
I don't know. I would have to check with HR to look at the history of how we got to. My assumption is we traditionally and historically have been opt-out. So I'm not sure that was something that was bargained, but we can look into it.
So I'm looking directly at this is where I look meaningfully at the city solicitor and ask if the Board of Estimates is not the appropriate body to set policy for the city's health care, who is the appropriate body?
Well, just because something is possible or legal, right, you still have the policy, you still have the policy that is set. And if the policy is going to be set by the administration and we get the votes for it, the question is, if the administration is saying, is this the appropriate mechanism for the Board of Estimates? And if we research that and we determine that it should be set, the other options were council Other options were, is it bargained for? But I think the administration has the ability to make that decision to determine what would be in the best interest of the city. So if they feel that the Board of Estimates is not the way to do it, just because, and I do want to clarify this, just because law signed off on form and legal sufficiency does not mean that it's good policy. And it also doesn't mean that they're saying that we are endorsing policy. I just want to make that distinction, not saying that it's bad policy or good, but I'm saying that signing off on legal form and sufficiency is not, in essence, saying that the law department is supporting or against a specific measure. It's just on that point. And I think what the city administrator is saying is that the administration wants to research what the appropriate mechanism is, and they tend to believe that it is through the bargaining system, and they don't want to jeopardize that because of all of the effort that has gone into it, and that they're in active negotiations. And I think that should lend a lot of weight, considering how long and how much is at stake. And I don't think that if we come out of those bargaining negotiations, that if we still feel that this is something that we want to look at, I don't think that's something that would go away, because we don't do that right now.
Well, first of all, I thank you for that, and I am familiar with the law department's assessment of approved for form and sufficiency not being the same thing as you think it's a good idea or you endorse it as a policy.
I have to always clarify.
As I referred to earlier, I have 13 years in the city council where that point was made very clear. However, it was made very clear along with the fact that if the city council was not the appropriate body to take up a matter and to put an issue before the council would be to encroach upon the powers of the mayor or the Board of Estimates or an agency head, and you could not pass something as an ordinance of the city council, the law department would not approve it for form and sufficiency. So I am taking the law department's approval of this resolution for form and sufficiency as the Board of Estimates could do this if it chose.
So I am not the lawyer here. That's the solicitor is the lawyer here. But I want to make sure that I'm clear about a couple of things. So, Mr. Comptroller, I think what I want to underscore here is the role of the Board of Estimates, which is to set fiscal policy, right? In the fact that we are also in active union negotiations, and we are now talking about changing a policy that is going to impact all city employees, including those that are covered by bargaining units, while we are actively negotiating with every single one of those bargaining units. And so I think, again, I'm happy to have an ongoing discussion, and I don't want it to, I don't want this to appear as though I am making a blanket statement about the powers of the Board of Estimates. I think that's an ongoing discussion. I think that's a legal discussion. It's a policy discussion. It's a discussion for the duly elected officials in this city to have that discussion. So what I will focus in on is the fact that we are in these active negotiations, but we as a Board of Estimates are now taking up something that impacts all of the individuals that are in those negotiations.
And just to add on, I just, to your point, Mr. Comptroller, yes, legal form and sufficiency, it legally could be done. The administration has the ability to say, after we are engaging actively in bargain negotiations, do I want to make this decision now? That's a policy issue, and they have to weigh those competing interests of, yes, even though we are for the end goal, do we want to, while we are sitting and negotiating, do that now? So while it could be done, Would they want to disrupt something that they have already been working on for a very long time, and I think nearing the end? And that is a decision that they can make. So yes, while it's legally possible, do they want to do it with the other competing factors? And that is what the city administrator, I believe, is trying to express, that she has to take into consideration, being fiscally prudent.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I'm still getting the fiscally prudent side of this because it has no budget impact. But I will, there is a prudence and an appropriateness that I get for not wanting to set precedents for bargaining with the waiver credit, which is why I offered to remove that and just focus on the opt-out nature. And the reason I am focusing on the opt-out aspect, which, and again, this may just go back to agreeing to disagree, which I do not see as a bargaining issue, and which in our conversations with bargaining unit representatives was not considered a bargaining issue. But I will move this back to the larger issue involved, which is last October, the Inspector General identified a problem. And as we all know, the Inspector General has no actual power to resolve problems that she identifies. Her power is she writes a report and lets the rest of us know that there's a problem. And so we read the report, and this is an effort to solve that problem. In the conversations I've had with the mayor's office in the last 2 months, and in the conversations I've had with other employees and other stakeholders in the months preceding that, no one has proposed an alternative solution to this problem. To the best of my understanding, and I am happy to be educated otherwise, there is not currently an active effort to make sure that this does not happen, doing anything different than what we had always done prior to finding that over 100 employees didn't have health insurance. So I would like to, at this time, motion to amend the resolution before us to remove the waiver credit. And I believe the clerk has copies of the amendment that she can pass out. And I would ask that we would approve the resolution for just the opt-out portion of the resolution, so that the city would take this opportunity in mid-July with 3-ish months before we go into open enrollment, which I don't think we have a whole lot of time to do something else or have other conversations and still give HR time to make sure that they're able to offer all new employees a system which ensures that they will be covered with the health care benefits that they deserve and that they have earned through their service to the city.
So at this, you have a comment on
Yes,
this?
I
Go ahead.
I didn't know if we
Before I-
needed to move to discussion, since there's a motion on the floor. So thank you so much. So, Mr. Comptroller, I want to thank you for your thoughtfulness behind this resolution and the intention of this resolution, as well as your efforts leading up to the moments where we are now, because I know that you approached this in a manner in which you wanted to be partners to identify ways that we could address this issue. I do, however, want to make sure that I am clear with the public about the problem that we're solving for, right? So you mentioned the report by the Inspector General that was done several months ago regarding the number of employees within the Bureau of Solid Waste and at DPW that had not signed up for health insurance. I want to say that report indicated it was about 140 employees or so that had not signed up for health insurance benefits and did not know, many of them did not know that they could sign up for health insurance benefits. There are over 700 employees in the Bureau of Solid Waste, or in the Bureau of Solid Waste, and then there are about 300 or so that are in routine services. And so I want to be very clear that we took this issue extremely seriously. And what we did at the Department of Public Works under the leadership of Director Zaid, or Deputy Mayor Zaid, and Director Garbark, we actually closed down our facilities for a period of time, and we worked with all of those employees. And there were about 100 of the 140 that made the decision to sign up for health insurance benefits. So this notion that nothing changed, I want to address that. That is not true. We took additional steps. Now, what we also did is we wanted to see how pervasive this issue was and if this was a significant citywide issue. It is not. Less than 5% of employees in the city of Baltimore opt out of their health insurance. Most of our employees are covered. And so what this administration will commit to doing, especially as we go into open enrollment in October, is to ensure that we are going the extra mile when it comes to educating our employees about the fact that they have health care benefits, especially our employees who are frontline employees who may not always have access to technology to sign up for benefits. And so whether it's at DOT, Public Works, DGS, we will have a field campaign that is ensuring that we are connecting with employees, ensuring that they are educated about the benefits that are available to them. But to answer this question or this idea that was put on the table that this is a pervasive issue, it is not. Less than 5% of our employees do not have health insurance benefits in the city of Baltimore. But what we will do is make sure that we go the extra mile and that everyone is aware of their benefits and that they have spaces where they can sign up for those benefits in all of the offices across the city.
I'm going to choose not to fight the pervasiveness.
Yes, Matt.
Thank you, Madam President. To the administrator's point, there were 135 individuals identified as not having. We actually enrolled 131. So with the help of DHR and with DPW's team, we are committed. We have a orientation every 2 weeks. A whole portion of that orientation is focused on the benefits. We have found success in getting that, and we are committed to do other fairs and on-site information sessions about healthcare for our employees. So we do think that the information, at least for DPW, is getting out there.
I've made a motion, and I probably need you to second it if it's going to have a vote.
Okay, so it's my turn. And I'm just, as a person listening to this dialogue for the first time, I put myself in my legislator mode. And just first of all, want to say that, healthcare is, particularly today, is a very serious choice of what healthcare are you going to pick? It's really very complicated, and we still have employees that really don't have everyday access to a computer because of the kind of jobs that they do. There's still going to be that, as you said, 5% or less that for some reason or another didn't fill the application out right. There's something wrong. Also, on the council, we do have our conversations and reports that we get from the Inspector General's office as well. We have had several hearings with the sanitation department. I'm sure that's just one piece of all of the agencies. So, and then the third piece, you know, in my eyes, a resolution is basically bringing awareness to that there is some sort of problem and there is a need, and I basically don't see a problem with the comptroller presenting this resolution in trying to help. And he is the comptroller and the fiscal person, and just really trying to overall, a problem has faced him. He's trying to put in a resolution to just keep that awareness going and keep moving forward. And I'm hoping that attention does continue to happen with this. I'm hoping that this subject matter is a part of the continued negotiations, because I know this has, because of my affiliation in the past with, of course, my deceased husband, and just conversations, that this has been a subject for really a long time. So on that note, seeing no further questions, I will entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Would you
Very
like to
quickly,
comment?
well, two things. One, I do want to acknowledge that the comptroller noted that this was not a fiscal issue, so I want to acknowledge that. And then also, given the fact that we reduced the number of I'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also want to acknowledge that given the work that DPW did to reduce their numbers, if right now you're talking about 159 individuals total in the entire city. There are 13,500 employees, and so this would impact 159 individuals.
Respond, comptroller?
Yeah, I was going to let that go in the earlier one. For what it's worth, I didn't claim that this was a pervasive problem in the sense that there were hundreds more people that this was addressing. Where I was concerned about the need to address it institutionally is many of our positions, especially in solid waste as part of Public Works, are moderately transited positions. People come and go, which means we are constantly getting new employees, and that will be future opportunities for people to not know about this, that we will have to keep making sure that we educate for to keep the level of success that you're trying to get. Although I could take the philosophical approach and say, if even one person doesn't know, and by the way, I did see our Inspector General come in, or did she go back out? She came in with a group, and I just wanted to let her and the group know we're actually discussing a resolution that is based on an Inspector General's report from last October. So I thought that was incredible piece of synchronicity that she would come in at this time. So if you don't want to do it, then I guess we will just have the vote and move on with our lives. But I do persist. Nevertheless, he does persist. I do persist in believing that this is not a budgetary issue and this is not a bargaining issue. It is simply a decision of what we are going to have as city policy, which is the purview, I believe, of the Board of Estimates. And with that, I repeat my motion to amend the resolution to remove the waiver credits and simply change the city's healthcare benefits policy from opt-in to opt-out.
I make a motion to second.
Moved and seconded. So I guess we vote.
Seeing no further questions, we just took the vote. All in favor of approving the item, say aye.
Aye. Well, actually, technically, we're voting on the amendment.
The amendment, yes.
Okay.
To approve the amendment, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
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 Okay. So we're not going to amend it.
So this item was,
So now the resolution unamended is still before us.
resolution unamended is before us. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay.
This item is denied.
All right.
All right, that was
See, you didn't
interesting.
think the president was going to leave you this kind of excitement.
Okay, now the city administrator wants to put something on an item on the, discuss an item again for BHSB.
SB. Yes. So, Mr. Comptroller, one, I wanted to thank you and the entire board for what was a spirited discussion and what had been a spirited discussion led up to today. And so for all of our young people in the room, there's a whole process that happens before we even get to the board. So we already kind of know the back and forth that we're going to have. And so this is democracy at work. There are times where we're not going to agree based off of principle or other things, but we always do it in a way where we could be good faith stewards of the people of the city of Baltimore. And so I just want to thank the comptroller as well as the Vice President Middleton as well for being a part of a positive discussion about a policy issue that impacts all of our employees. And every single person on this board wants the absolute best for our city employees, including the Inspector General who joined us today and all the members of this board and the mayor. And so just wanted to acknowledge that. But also, I did want to close the loop on the discussion about 988, and we will get this information to you because I'm still, gathering and getting clarity on the numbers. But Allie Smith, who I mentioned earlier, departed us. I knew she would have the numbers, and we actually have an internal dashboard, so I asked her about it. And what Allie shared with me is that we have had 1,778 calls that went to 988. Some of those calls were co-responses, but they were still diverted to 988. So meaning that we've had, it sounds like right under 2,000 calls that were diverted from 911 to 988, and there may have been a co-response where BPD or fire responded in addition to crisis response. But again, those calls they originated at 911 and went over to 988. But I was also speaking to the fire chief as well, who was pulling some numbers from his side as well. And he was pulling for me the current fiscal year. I think that is the totality of the time that we've had 988 active, which would go back to, I think, 2021 or so. I think we're looking at that 1,700 number, but I want to get clarity, and we will send these numbers to you. But given that that was a question that we started with, I wanted to make sure that I put those numbers on the record.
Thank you.
On that note, just a quick public service announcement for 988 that, please utilize that number. It's just an added resource in working to get the help that's needed for our constituency. And as there is no more business before the board, we now adjourn this meeting. The next regular meeting of the Board of Estimates will occur on Wednesday, August 6th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And thank you, everyone, for participating and tuning in. Adjourn.
Thank you.
Hey, TV 25, I think we're ready to go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Estimates bid opening for July 16th, 2025. We have quite a few bids to open today, so bear with us. It took us a little bit to get organized, and we're going to go through them slow and make sure everything gets opened as it should. So first, I need to share an addenda, Recreation and Parks, RP 24809R, Robert C. Marshall Field renovation. This item, originally scheduled to be open today, will now be opened on August 6th, 2025. And up first, for the Bureau of Procurement, we have RFQ 000675. This is for Bus Lane Automated Traffic Violation Enforcement System. I'm going to, once this tries to get awarded, I'm going to put in a statement of opposition, because this is going to be a problem for me.
That's right, I will counter it with a statement of support. Okay, we have one bid received for this. Ooh.
Everyone's okay.
Everyone's
We just
okay.
dropped some boxes and things.
We
Hang on.
received one bid from Vera Mobility. In front of me, I have one flash drive. I have, oh, this is a two-part? Sorry.
This is a two-pack.
A two-part? This is a two-part. Can you mark that on that? This is a two-part, so I'm only
Yeah, I was going to confirm that, sorry. It's, and you have duplicates?
Yep, I have, let's see. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 duplicates.
Thanks for all
of the
those
technical
duplicates.
proposal and one flash drive and one original. And I'm also holding, I want to note for the record that we have received the price proposal, one duplicate of the price proposal, and one flash drive for the price proposal that will be opened at a later date.
No, it's going to be open today.
Oh, sorry, it's just a technical, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. To be really clear, these came in 2 parts, but the Bureau of Procurement is treating this as a one-step bid. Thank you very much from our studio audience. We are treating this as a one-step bid, which means we got a whole bunch of technical qualifications, and we have pricing from this company, and so we're sharing how many qualifications we received, and we will also be sharing their price today. So, and is this a total or an itemized?
Let's see what happens when I open the page.
See what happens.
This looks like, this is totaled by year, but there's no bid total.
Looking at our buyer in the audience, should we see a total?
We have it broken out by, we have it broken down by year in front of us. Do you want me to read the years, or there's usually a bid total?
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
total for us to read.
Oh, yeah, we can do it by year, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll read the cost by year? You want us to read them out? Okay.
That's fine.
Wait, it's also broken down by number of systems.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to do that. We might need to refer this to you guys to deal with. So the price has been opened, but it's a multi-part pricing. It's not a total bid amount to share. So we are going to refer this item, as we normally would, to the agency for their review.
That was it?
So let me clear that up for everybody. This, again, was RFQ 000675. This is for Bus Lane Automated Traffic Violation Enforcement System. And we have received a bid from Vera Mobility. They have provided both technical qualifications and pricing, and that pricing is not a sum total, so we are referring this to the agency for their detailed review. And that was the only bidder received for RFQ 675. Up next, for Bureau of Procurement, RFQ 705. This is for the supply and delivery of food equipment at various locations. And Casey, I think we have 2 bidders for this
We
one.
have 2 bids. Okay, let me start with the easier one. Okay, so we received a bid from sorry. It's not indicated on the first page who the company, just the authorized representative that submitted to us. Okay, I can see now. The first bid we received from is Basante Industrial USA LLC.
Got it?
And we have, let's see, one of, it's not clearly marked original.
But we appear to, do we have two?
We have 3 copies. They're not clearly marked original or duplicate.
So I'm just going to say that we have 3 copies
Yeah, we have 3 copies and 1 flash drive.
and 1 flash drive. Okay. And do we have a total?
And yes, the total we have is $31,136.00.
That number was 31,136.00. Correct. Pardon me. And again, that bidder was Basante Industrial USA LLC for $31,136.
Wait, nope, that was wrong.
I'm sorry?
They have 2.
That was next to total bid price.
There are multiple pages that say total bid price. Okay. Bid price sheet.
Okay, hold on a second. Turning to our experts from procurement here, we have 3 pages that each say total. These are totals for 3 separate facilities?
Yes.
So we should read each total?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to record that
Yeah, this
on
is
our tab sheet,
this is
but
unusual. We
this is unusual. So we have 3 facilities and 3 totals. And we are going to share the totals for each facility as presented by this bidder. So hold on a second, let me make sure I don't see any other differences. So I see a lot 1, 2, and 3, Shake and Bake, Mimi DePietro, and Mount Pleasant. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to record this on the tab sheet for this to make sense for folks. But I'm going to stack them up. And then we might need to clean up the formatting before we post this so it makes sense for folks that pull it down from the website. And Casey, in just a second, I'm going to ask you to read out each number so I can compare it to what I'm pulling from this copy and just confirm the totals. So go ahead, starting with the
okay,
first
so
total.
lot 1, which is Shake and Bake,
Uh-huh.
is $31,136.
Got it.
Lot 2, which is Mimi DePietro,
Uh-huh.
$22,567.
Yep.
Lot 3, which is Mount Pleasant, is
Yep.
going to be $39,815. I'm going to note that these are not marked original and duplicate, and out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to ask the law department to tell us which one we can use for a public copy so that we don't accidentally expose any proprietary information.
So, and just to repeat that for clarity, oops, sorry, I'm trying to clean up this sheet at the same time. For clarity, we don't have a bid that is marked clearly the original, so we're going to refer this first to the law department for their review before we determine what the public shareable copy is. And then I'm going to read through these one more time since this has been a little broken up, so folks trying to follow this will understand what's going on. Oops. Okay. So we have a bidder bidding on 3 separate lots, so we have a total for each lot. That bidder is Basante Industrial USA LLC. And for lot, excuse me, lot 1, they bid $31,136. For lot 2, they bid $22,567. And for lot 3, they bid $39,815.
Yep, that's correct.
Casey, I'm going to really mess up your very nice formatting here. We'll have to clean it up later before we publish.
Can I have yours?
Yes, sorry. There you go.
Okay, we have one more bid. We have one more bid that's good, that has just one bid, no duplicate, nothing marked original,
Nothing's marked original?
submitted completely separately. Differently than the previous bid, so
And did you say there's no copy?
there's no copy.
Okay.
Yeah, this, and it came from Douglas Equipment Restaurant and Food Store.
Okay.
Um,
And there's not a total for each lot? Or there is?
The total is for all the equipment prescribed, so I'll read you the total.
So it's not referencing lot 1,
it's not
lot 2,
lot-
lot 3?
no.
It's just giving us one?
One total.
Okay.
And so I'll read that, which is $81,248.30.
Okay. That sum total bid was 81,248.30?
Correct.
Okay. So that bidder was Douglas Equipment, and they've given us a summary total for all lots of $81,248.30. In this case, we also don't have a clearly marked original, so we will refer both of these bids to the Law Department for an initial review before they go to the agency. Did you tell me that has a flash drive?
No flash drive.
No flash drive, okay. Got it.
All right.
Okay, that was our final of 2 bidders for RFQ 000705, supply and delivery of food equipment at various locations. Up next, for the Bureau of Procurement, we have RFQ 721. This is for on-call commercial glass installation repair services. In parentheses, it says Lot 1 and window. So I don't know if there's any distinctions going on in how that got bid on the inside of this.
It's also Lot 1 and Lot 2
Okay.
on the document. We have one bid from Kaplan Brothers
Okay.
Incorporated. I have, let me make sure I can say this. I have I have 2 bids. It looks like they're both original. They are neither marked with original nor duplicate.
So we really just have 2 copies. We
We
don't have
have-
anything marked original.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. And flash drive?
I have 1 flash drive.
Okay. And do we have a total, or is it this another multi-part?
It looks to be a grand total. Yeah, that seems, I confirm. Okay, and that total is going to be $2,433,565.00.
That number was 2,433,565.00?
Correct.
Okay. That bidder was Kaplan Brothers, Inc. for $2,433,565.00. And because we don't have a clearly marked original, we'll refer this one to law also before we release it to the agency. And that was our only bidder for RFQ 721 on-call commercial glass installation repair services. Up next for the Bureau of Procurement, we have RFQ 000724. This is for an internet service provider for HABC, that's the Housing Authority of Baltimore City, HABC locations. And this is a technical only. We should not be opening a price. This is Part A. So we're looking for qualifications, not pricing at this time.
Super.
I think we have 3 bidders for this,
Okay.
according to my sheet, so,
My sheet says 2.
okay. We'll
Um,
work it out as we go.
2.5 maybe is where we're at. Okay, the first bid I have cleanly marked original from Greenlight Networks.
Got it?
It is a original, clearly marked original and technical with a flash drive attached.
Do you have copies?
And it looks like I have one, oh my God, guys. Okay, I have one duplicate. And yeah, I have one duplicate.
Okay.
So there's appendices also here, clearly marked original and duplicate, but for our sake, I'm just going to refer to the original and duplicate. I'm also sharing with Madam Clerk that I have the Part B in my hand. We will not be
B.
opening that today.
I'm going to indicate on the bid sheet that a Part B has been received. Okay.
All right, that's Greenlight Networks.
That was Greenlight Networks, and up next,
Up next is a bid from Port Networks. I have a flash drive. I have a clearly marked original, a clearly marked duplicate, and a Part B. Part B. Apologies to the viewer at home that are getting my Boston accent. Go O's.
it's O. Okay, that bidder was Port Networks, Inc. We have received their qualifications and are also noting that a Part B has been received.
All right, the last one is from Digital C. And I have received one original and one duplicate, and yeah, one original, one duplicate.
No flash drive?
No flash drive as far as I can tell.
And do we have a Part B?
I have a, for the camera, Part B.
And that bidder was Digital C, and I'll run through that list one more time for folks keeping track. This was RFQ 000724, Internet Service Provider for HABC locations. This was a 2-part bid, and we are opening Part 1 today, or Part A, as we call it. And that is for qualifications, and those have been received from the following: Greenlight Networks, Port Networks Incorporated, and Digital C. And each of these respondents has also provided a Part B, or the price component of the bid as well, and we are noting that on our opening sheet. And up next, also for procurement, because they have been really busy, RFQ 000733. This is for flexible spending account. presumably companies that manage flexible spending accounts for us. And we, I think, Casey, are going to have 4 bidders for this one,
Great.
thanks to Wanda.
Okay,
And this is a one part, so we're opening the whole shebang. And our procurement colleagues are nodding yes.
okay.
All
right, we
I
have-
think that means we're going to see a total price.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's that for?
For the previous, will you go back to the previous one?
RFQ 724.
Yes.
Digital C does have a flash drive. Sorry about that. Since we're just adding that notation to the previous bid. And now back to RFQ 733.
Okay. The first one I have in front of me, so I have is from Surency. Surency.
Surency?
Yes.
Probably Surency.
It's like Surency, but
It's like
without
insurance,
I'm adding an
Surency.
H when I'm doing it. Surency, with an adorable pineapple logo. I have one original.
Got it.
I have one flash drive.
Okay.
And then I have, oh no, those. 4 duplicates.
4. Okay.
All right, inside my original. High quality paper. Paper's very slippery. Okay. We have 3 years
And a total for
of
the whole-
totals. We have 3 totals.
Okay, I don't think we want to read all 3 of these totals. I think we want to refer it if we don't have a clear,
I agree.
right? Because I don't know how that, I don't know if that's helpful. Looking at procurement when I asked this question, if we see 3 totals, 1 for each year, it seems like that's something you guys should review, that we shouldn't read that out loud. Yeah, we're not seeing a sum total. We're just seeing a total for each year. So we're
Okay.
not going to read those. We're going to refer it to the agency for review.
Super.
Okay.
You can tell me differently, it'll just make the sheet really complicated, and I don't know if that's good or bad. So,
Okay.
so it looks like it was a request for a response for 3 years of service, and there's a total for each year. So we're going to refer this bid to the agency for their review.
Can I have all of them? Okay, the next one is MetLife. They submitted. If you can make sure the original is on top. 'Cause I'm searching through all of them for the original. Okay, this is the original. Okay, so
One
we,
original?
we have one original, 1, 2, 3, 4 duplicates,
Okay. And flash drive?
and 1 flash drive. And let me just, and I'm not going to read the total because it's broken up by 3. Well,
Yeah, let's confirm that
let's confirm.
it's structured the same way, and we'll do the same thing.
Okay, yeah, it's structured the exact same way as the
Okay,
previous
who did you
one,
tell
the
me this
3
one
years.
was again?
This is from MetLife
Okay,
Consumer
just wanna make sure.
Services Incorporated.
Got it. So we have one flash drive, one original, 4 dupes. The pricing is itemized by year, so we're going to refer that itemization to the agency for review.
Okay, next we have a bid from Inspira Financial Health Incorporated.
Okay.
We have one original, and we have 2 duplicates. And
2 duplicates.
at this moment in time, I do not see a flash drive. Yeah. I do see a lot of cardboard for fun. Okay, the original. The original is, the pricing is structured as same as the previous ones.
Itemized by year.
Yep.
Okay. So again, that's itemized by year, and we will refer that to the agency for review along with all the other ones. And that was Inspira Financial Health, Inc.
Yeah.
And then I believe we have one more.
This is the last one.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is from Baker Tilly, Vantagen.
Mm-hmm.
We have one original, 2 copies, and 1 flash drive.
1 flash drive. And is this one also itemized by year?
Indeed.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to run through that list one more time for folks keeping track. This was RFQ 733, and we had 4 bidders. And those bidders were Assurancy Life and Health Insurance Company, MetLife, Inspira Financial Health Incorporated, and Baker Tilly Vantagen. Or is it Vantagen? Vantagen.
Potato.
These were all itemized by years, so we are sending the whole bundle to the Bureau of Procurement for their direct review and comparison of that pricing. And that was our 4 bidders for RFQ 733. Up next, we have RFQ 736. This was for envelope assignment, air sealing, insulation, and air tightness testing. And we did not receive any bids, I'm so sorry to say, friends at procurement. We have not received any bids for RFQ 736, envelope assignment, air sealing, insulation, and air tightness testing. And our final bid for today is for the Department of Transportation, TR 25014. This is for ADA curb ramp construction south, urgent need.
Great. Okay, so 2 bids. The first one is from J Villa Construction Incorporated.
Okay.
J Villa has provided their bid bonds, front page.
Hold on a second, I have a column for bond. Okay. Original?
They have 1 original and 1 duplicate. One original. Let me make sure I'm just reading them correctly. And 1 duplicate. Yep.
Flash drive?
No flash drives for capital. And
we have a clear total?
I want to point out, this isn't the total.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't say total, so.
I didn't do that particular one.
All right, for, I can find it. I just want to point out, it says, it should say total bid. So the total is $1,334,000.
That number was 1,334,000.00.
Correct.
That bidder was J Villa Construction for $1,334,000.00. And up next,
All right, and we have, the next bid is from Priority Construction Corporation. Sorry, they, noting for staff that it says original and duplicate on this page, so.
do we have a second?
We have a second, so.
Okay.
I have one bid bond for them. And the total bid is $1,321,603.03.
And 3 cents. That was 1,321,603.03.
Correct.
That was Priority Construction Corporation for $1,321,603.03. And that was our final
Yes.
of 2 bidders. For TR25014 ADA curb ramp construction, South urgent need. And for our colleagues from our various agencies with us today, we will prepare any bids for you all to take with you if you can, unless they're going to the law department. So we'll have those ready shortly. And for folks keeping track of this from elsewhere, these results should be posted by close of business today, if not sooner. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Our next Board of Estimates bid opening is scheduled for
August 6th.
at 12 noon. Thanks, everybody. So much